Hello and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. We are back in another GT4 at Suzuka International for the Grand Prix layout. I started doing the BMWs, the new ones, and you guys have asked for some normal GT4s because not everyone fancies the new GT4 BMW version, so totally get that. If you are new to my channel, what I do is I show the hot lap, and then we do a breakdown lap, and then we go back in the car final time for those of you that like the driving line on. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comments section, and also please remember that this is the fixed edition. So if you are absolutely destroying me, let's put it down to your setup being better than the sprint fixed. All right, let's start the lap. Okay, one thing I will say is this is the first time I've driven the Aston Martin Vantage GT4 edition, and I much prefer it to the BMW M4, the new G82. The G82 took me about an hour to get a decent lap in, and this took me sort of 15 minutes to do this guide. So hopefully, if there's any interest in this, I shall continue to do both. Right, so over on the left-hand side, up to 6th gear. And I do initial hard braking, trailing it off, keeping that brake on there, drop it down into 3rd gear, feeling for the grip, exit nice and wide, up to 4th, over to the right-hand side, just a lift on that first turn of the S's, then a little dab of the brakes, keeping it in 4th gear, again a little dab of the brakes, get over to the left-hand side, down to 3rd, just to give it that extra bit of oomph, drop it down to 3rd again here, over to the right-hand side, up to 4th, just a little lift just to make sure we can get round the corner. Keeping it tight over to the left-hand side. Looking for these next 2 corners, which are more or less facsimiles of themselves. Copies, if you're not as old as me. Up to 5th, cutting this corner. Braking hard, all the way down to 2nd for the hairpin. Feeling for the grip on exit. Obviously in the fixed setup we have got traction control set at 2 and ABS set at 8. Nothing we can do about that. The first of these, of this U, I'm going to drop it to 4th. Then down to 3rd, just so we can get some extra grunt on exit. Trying to avoid traction control slipping in. We do have a right foot, that is the best traction control implement we have. Apologies to those of you who don't have any feet. Little dab of the brakes, down to 5th gear, back on the gas here. Now for the final braking zone, into the chicane, drop it down to 3rd. Get back on the gas, cut in the corner. And over and across the line in a 209.88. Alright, now for the breakdown lap. Okay, now for the breakdown lap. I'll try and run through this fairly fast because we have got 4 miles of course and 17 corners to try and get through. So the first braking marker we're looking for here is just coming up to the 50-meter board as we get there. I'm going to brake quite hard, almost up to full. I'm going to trail it off. I'm going to sort of ignore that first apex because we want to be out wide over on the left-hand side. Dropping it down to 4th. Again, we may just have to increase brake pressure a little bit here just to get it turned in. Dropping it down to 3rd gear. And now we're just feeling for that traction. Feeling for the grip. Exit nice and wide. Over to the right-hand side in 4th gear. Just a lift on this corner, and we're wanting to get our left-hand tyres up and over this green extra bit of curbing here. Little dab of brakes as we come in. I'm going to leave it in 4th gear, and again, just feeling for the grip in 4th gear. And then on this one, I do again, a little dab of brakes. I drop it down to 3rd just because it's quite steep, this hill, and I'm wanting that extra torque. Up to 4th, and then again, little dab of brakes. We're going to drop it down to 3rd, midway through the corner, and again, we're going to try and get back on the gas as soon as possible. up to 4th gear, and we're just going to do a lift here, and then we're going to build back up on the throttle. So we're at 100%, nice and early in the corner. Up to 5th gear, over to the left-hand side. And again, it's the just as we come up to the 50-meter marker, it's basically the 75-meter if there was one there. And for this, we're going to brake up to about 70%, drop it down to 4th gear, trail it off down to the exit, and then get back on the gas. Got to straighten her up because you don't want your right-hand tyres to be over this white line. And then again, it's the same corner, again, up to about 70%. This time dropping it down to 3rd, clipping the corner, getting back on the gas, straightening her up as fast as possible. Up to 5th. Going to just cut this corner here, and then as soon as we straighten the wheel, we're back on the gas up to full braking power here. Trailing it off all the way down to 2nd gear, really tight corner. Doesn't feel that comfortable in the car, and then we're back at 100% throttle, as you see just here as we exit. Up to 4th. Trying to keep the track as short as possible here. Up to 5th. Go nice and wide and then come back across, wanting to just clip this curbing on the right hand side. And again, as we come to this little road, if you can see just in front of me, this path on the right hand side, as we get there, we're doing our braking up to about 80%, dropping it down to 4th, wanting to clip this first curb, this first apex on this double apex corner, then get out over to the right hand side. And we're braking up to about 60%, trailing it off immediately down into 3rd gear. And we're going to start building back up. And again, we're just going to clip this next apex. Up to 6th gear. And then once we get just to the 50-meter marker, as you can see here, just going to dab the brakes very briefly up to about 50%, very, very briefly, immediately getting off them, dropping it down to 5th. We're going to cut this curb here, just going over it, up to 100% throttle now when we're at the apex. It's going to make us exit nice and wide. We're absolutely fine exiting here. And then as we come to the final bit of braking. Now, you can brake a little bit later and just go full. I was wanting to not smash the ABS quite as much here. So as I get to the 100-meter marker, I brake up to about 80% and I'm holding it there, holding it, slowly backing off the brake as I want to turn in towards the first apex, which we're just going to try and clip. As you can see here, just clipped it. I get up to full throttle and then I do a big lift to get around this second part, the chicane. Now I'm up to a full throttle again, and I'm wanting to sort of cut the curbing, keeping my left-hand tyres on the asphalt. And hug it round to the right-hand side. And there we go. Dead simple, dead straightforward. A 209.881. Let me know how you guys are getting on, and for those of you that want it, driving line coming up now. Okay, final time of the driving line on. As always, thanks for watching. I've been Sambo iRacing. Do make sure, if you want to race against my BLAP, just go and grab it from my Dropbox in the description, and I'll see you guys in the week. Thanks a lot.